We both love hiking, craft beer, and the office. We're perfect for each other. That's what Sarah thought when she met Jake. 6 months later, they couldn't stand each other. And if you've ever wondered why you and your perfect match crashed and burned, this video is for you. Welcome back. Today we're dismantling one of the biggest myths in modern dating. The idea that compatibility is all about having things in common. We've been sold this story that lasting love comes from shared hobbies, similar music tastes, and matching Netflix queues. But what if I told you that some of the strongest relationships are built on fundamental differences? Stick around, because we're about to flip everything you thought you knew about compatibility on its head. Section 1. The surface level trap. Let's start with where this myth comes from. Dating apps have trained us to think compatibility is a matching game. You both like yoga? Swipe right. You both watch documentaries? It's meant to be. But here's the problem. Surface level similarities don't create deep connection. They create the illusion of compatibility. Think of it like an iceberg. Your hobbies and interests are just the tip. The real foundation of a relationship, your values, communication style, emotional needs, that's all underwater. You can both love hiking and still have completely incompatible approaches to conflict. You can both be foodies and still have fundamentally different ideas about money, family, or life goals. We've confused shared activities with shared compatibility, and it's costing us real connection. Section 2. What actually matters? So if shared interests don't matter, what does? Let's talk about the 3 pillars of real compatibility that nobody talks about. First, communication style. This isn't about whether you both like to talk. It's about how you process conflict, how you express needs, and how you handle stress. One person might need to talk through problems immediately. Another might need space to process first. Neither is wrong. But if you can't navigate those differences, you're doomed. Second, core values. Not hobbies, values. How do you view money? Family? Personal growth? Career versus relationships? You can have completely different interests but share the same fundamental approach to life. That's what creates lasting partnership. Third, emotional availability and maturity. Can you both show up for the hard stuff? Can you be vulnerable? Can you support each other's growth without feeling threatened? These are the things that matter when the honeymoon phase ends and real life begins. Section 3. The science of opposites. Now, you might be thinking this sounds nice in theory, but what does the research actually say? Dr. John Gottman's research on thousands of couples found that successful relationships aren't about similarity. They're about how you handle differences. In fact, many thriving couples have complementary rather than identical traits. The extrovert who helps their introverted partner socialize. The planner who balances the spontaneous partner. Psychologist Dr. Helen Fisher's work on attachment style shows that we're often drawn to people who possess qualities we lack. Not because we're broken, but because we're seeking balance. The key isn't having the same personality. It's having compatible ways of being different. Think about it. If you're both exactly the same, who's going to challenge you to grow? Who's going to bring new perspectives? Who's going to push you out of your comfort zone? Section 4. Why we fall for the myth. So why do we keep falling for the things in common myth? Why does it feel so compelling? Part of it is cultural conditioning. Every romantic comedy shows us couples who just click because they both love the same obscure band or have the same favorite book. But there's also psychology at play. Similarity feels safe. It's comfortable. It doesn't challenge us or force us to grow. When we date people who are just like us, we're essentially dating ourselves. It's narcissistic and limiting, but it feels easy. The problem is that comfort zones don't create passion. They don't create growth. They create stagnation. Dating apps make this worse by letting us filter for exact matches. We're literally designing our own echo chambers and wondering why we're bored. We've turned dating into a matching game when it should be about discovering who brings out the best in us. Section 5. The real compatibility test. So how do you actually assess compatibility? Forget the shared interest checklist. Here's what you should be paying attention to. First, watch how they handle disagreement. Don't avoid conflict, create it. Not drama, but healthy debate. Do they listen? Do they get defensive? Do they try to understand your perspective? Second, observe their relationship with growth. Are they curious about new experiences? Do they support your goals, even if they don't share them? Do they challenge you to be better? Third, pay attention to energy. Not shared energy, complementary energy. Do they bring out sides of you that you like? Do you feel more yourself around them or less? Fourth, look at how they handle stress and crisis. This is where shared hobbies mean nothing and emotional maturity means everything. Finally, assess the laugh test. Not whether you find the same things funny, but whether you can laugh together, especially at yourselves. Section 6. Redefining compatibility. So let's redefine compatibility. True compatibility isn't about sameness. It's about creating something together that neither of you could create alone. It's about complementary strengths. Maybe you're great at planning and they're great at adapting. Maybe you're emotionally intuitive and they're logically minded. It's about shared vision with different paths. You both want a meaningful life, but you might define and pursue that differently. It's about mutual respect for differences. You don't have to understand why they love death metal or vintage cars. You just have to respect their passion. Most importantly, it's about being teammates in life, not competitors or clones. The best relationships aren't echo chambers. They're laboratories for growth. Section 7. Practical applications. All right. So how do you put this into practice? How do you date differently when you stop looking for your mirror image? First, change what you're looking for. Instead of loves hiking, look for values personal growth. Instead of watches The Office, look for has a great sense of humor. Second, ask better questions. Instead of what do you do for fun, ask what energizes you. Instead of what movies do you like, ask what's something you've changed your mind about recently. Third, embrace the differences you discover. When they tell you about their passion for something you don't understand, get curious instead of dismissive. Fourth, focus on how you feel around them, not what you do together. Do you feel more confident, more creative, more yourself? Finally, stop trying to change people to match you. Work with who they are, not who you want them to become. Section 8. Addressing the pushback. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but what about shared values? What about common goals? And you're right to ask. I'm not saying differences don't matter. I'm saying we're focusing on the wrong differences. Having different favorite movies? Irrelevant. Having different approaches to money or family? That matters. The goal isn't to find someone who disagrees with you about everything. It's to find someone whose differences complement your strengths and challenge your weaknesses. And yes, some differences are deal breakers, but those are usually about values and character, not hobbies and entertainment preferences. Here's what I want you to remember. The person who challenges you to grow is more valuable than the person who validates everything you already think. The relationship that pushes you to become the best version of yourself is more meaningful than the relationship that keeps you comfortable. Stop looking for someone who likes all the same things you do. Start looking for someone who brings out sides of you that you didn't know existed. Because the best relationships aren't about finding your twin. They're about finding your complement. Love isn't about sameness. It's about synergy. I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a relationship where you had everything in common, but it still didn't work? Or maybe you're with someone completely different from you, and it's amazing. Share your stories in the comments. If this changed how you think about dating and relationships, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I've got more relationship myth-busting content coming your way. And remember, you're not looking for someone who's just like you. You're looking for someone who makes you more like who you want to be.